Hello, everybody. My name is Jared Weathers. And welcome to Political Breakdown. I finally got to change the channel name. That's very fun for me. So, Political Breakdown number 2 will consist of us learning about CRT. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Alright, so. Whoops. I'm messing up. Alright, so we're going to go to the Wikipedia page. And we're going to learn about a CRT real quick, so that we can start debunking some stuff. Alright. Critical race theory. Alright. Follow along. I'll be highlighting it so you can follow along as I read this. We're not gonna get too deep into it. I'm just gonna read like this first section and then we can go right into some videos. Critical race theory, CRT, is a body of legal scholarship and an academic movement of U.S. civil rights scholars and activists who seek to critically examine the intersection of race and U.S. law and to challenge mainstream American liberal approaches to racial justice. CRT examines social, cultural, and legal issues primarily as they relate to race and racism in the U.S. or the United States. CRT originated in the mid-1970s in the writings of several American legal scholars, including Derek Bell, Alan Freeman, Kimberly Crenshaw, Richard Delgado, Cheryl Harris, Charles R. Lawrence III, Mary Masuda, and Patricia J. Williams. It emerged as a movement by the 1980s, with working theories of critical legal studies (CLS) with more focus on race. CRT is grounded in critical theory and draws from thinkers such as Antonio Gramsci. I don't know how to pronounce that first name. Truth, Frederick Douglass, and W.E.B. Du Bois, as well as the Black Power, Chicano, and radical feminist movements from the 1960s and 1970s. The basic tenets of CRT include that racism and disparate racial outcomes are the result of complex, changing, and often subtle social and institutional dynamics, rather than explicit and intentional prejudices in individuals. CRT scholars view race and white supremacy as an intersectional social construct which serves to uphold the interests of white people at the expense of marginalized communities. In the field of legal studies, CRT emphasizes that formally colorblind laws can be applied in racially discriminatory ways. Jesus Christ. A key CRT concept is intersectionality, which emphasizes that race can intersect with other identities, such as gender and class, to produce complex combinations of power and advantage. Academic critics of CRT argue that it relies on social constructionism, elevates storytelling over evidence and reason, rejects the concepts of truth and merit, and opposes liberalism. Since 2020, conservative U.S. lawmakers have sought to ban or restrict critical race theory instruction along with other anti-racism programs. Critics of these efforts say the lawmakers have poorly defined or misrepresented the tenets and importance of CRT, and that the goal of the laws is to more broadly silence discussions of racism, equality, social justice, and the history of race. Okay, so basically, what all that said, if you didn't get it, CRT is just the, it's a academic, like a college academic, movement, I guess, that's what it says here, to build upon racism in America, but not only to like talk about that, but like to kind of investigate, class, gender, race, all these things that form, I don't know. I'm very tired. Uh, colorblind laws can actually be applied to any person of any race more negatively than explicitly racist laws. And the whole thing is just a college academic study. College academic study. Okay. So we're gonna go to YouTube. And we're going to, after this little bit that we learned, critical, Jesus. Okay. Here we go. PragerU. Let's do it. I'm ready.
One question most owners wish they'd asked sooner. Why does my dog lick their paws so much?
I'm not really sure why that was why that played there, but okay.
Have you heard about critical race theory? I'm guessing you probably have. It has already insinuated itself into many institutions and is making rapid progress into others. If it takes hold, it will completely change the very nature of America and the way you live.
How? What? This is why I like watching this kind of stuff, man, because like they make it out to be like a big boogeyman, and they don't actually like end up like explaining anything, like almost nothing, honestly.
Critical race theory holds that the most important thing about you is your race. The color of your skin, that's who you are. Not your behavior, not your values, not your environment. Your race. In critical race theory, if you are a member of a minoritized racial group, their term, not mine, you are a victim of a system that is rigged against you, a system that doesn't want you to succeed.
I mean, it can. It can do that. It can hold you down, yes. Like, okay. There's other things that explain this. But the thing is, though, okay, it's not just, your race is who you are. That's not what it's about. It's about analyzing the social and legal nature of how people perceive race for, like, laws and stuff. Like, oh my god. My brain's already melting.
You are a victim of a system that is rigged against you.
It can be. It can be. Especially if your name sounds ethnic at all. There's actually been studies of I've only heard about the McDonald's one, but I'm sure there's been more. There's a let me find it actually. There. I'm working out other stuff. Let's see here. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Studies suggest bias against black names on resumes. Oh, this is from 2003. Jesus. I just heard about the ones that were done later, like a few years ago. Employers might be selecting or overlooking prospective job candidates for interviews based on their potential race as suggested by names, according to a recent study by two professors from the University of Chicago and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. To test whether employers might discriminate against job applicants with black-sounding names and associate professors of economics. Oh wait, what? I completely ran those two sentences together. To test whether employers might discriminate against job applicants with black-sounding names, associate professors of economics, Marianne Bertrand, with Chicago Graduate School of Business, and Senhil, Senhil, Molathan with MIT conducted an elaborate experiment. They fabricated resumes for multiple phantom job seekers with common black and white names. The professors then sent out nearly 5,000 resumes for 1,300 job openings advertised in newspapers and online job sites throughout Chicago and Boston. We searched online and selected resumes of actual job seekers, says Bertrand. We then used those to create models for several different realistic resumes with the appropriate education and experience needed for typical job openings advertised in newspapers. Most job openings for which the researchers sent resumes were administrative, sales, clerical, and managerial positions. Bertrand and Molithand, I really hope I'm saying that correctly, randomly assigned the applicants' names and common to either black men, black women, white men, or white women, and were careful not to send identical resumes to the same employer. Bertrand and Molithand then tracked which of their applicants were called for job interviews. Bertrand said that more resumes were sent to Chicago area employers simply because it is the larger metropolitan area, but added that the rate for interview requests was virtually identical between the two cities. The results were a bit disturbing, the research will admit. Applicants with white-sounding names were 50% more likely to be contacted for job interviews than those with typical black names. There was no significant differences between the rates at which men and women were contacted, which is good. Once we compiled the data and we got a good look at it, I was immediately struck by the disparities in the response rates, says Bertrand. I expected that there would be a difference, but not one that was so striking. Bertrand acknowledged that the employers could not conclusively determine the race of a job applicant from a resume. However, she contended that the study clearly showed bias among employers based on perceptions. I believe our study clearly shows that when employers or hiring managers see a name that might indicate race or at least the applicant's social class, they appear to react negatively towards it, Bertrand says. Once you take into account the large size of our sample and the comparable response rates of the two cities, we believe it's a very good indicator that employees treat applicants with African American sounding names much differently. Which is true. Again, 2003. Jesus. Anyway. I went off on a complete tangent. Okay.
A system that doesn't want you to succeed. On the other hand, if your race is privileged, you're an exploiter, whether you intend to be or not.
No. This is based on class, not race.
Critical race theory begins from the assumption that racism occurs in all interactions.
Not all interactions, but it can. It doesn't say that it does, it says that it can.
To see how this works, consider this thought experiment. Imagine you own a shop and two customers enter at the same time, one white and one black. Who do you help first? If you help the black person first, critical race theory would say you did so because you don't trust black people to be left alone in your store.
Not true? What? Does anyone actually believe this? Like, is this actually something that people believe? Come on now.
That's racist. If you help the white person first instead, critical race theory would say you did so because you think blacks are second-class citizens.
No. It doesn't. Jesus Christ, dude. Why don't you just help the person that walked in first? That would make more sense to me. That's what I do at my job that I have. I help the first person that walks in. I help them if they want help. If they don't, I move on to the next person.
That's racist too.
No.
That's critical race theory.
That's very simple, actually. If critical race theory was that simple, I don't think it'd be called critical race theory. I'm fairly certain that's not even close to it. No. No.
It can find racism in anything, even if it has to read your mind to do it. Critical race theory is a uniquely American invention. Brewed up at Harvard Law School in the 70s, now part of the academic and media mainstream, it is also uniquely un-American.
Who in the media talks about CRT? Honestly, think about it for a minute. Just for a minute. We'll sit here for a minute. Nobody. Exactly. Thank you.
Because it rejects the core tenets of the American, classically liberal Judeo-Christian value system. It turns the bedrock American idea upside down. Here it is in the words of Richard Delgado and Gene Stefanchik, two leading proponents. Critical race theory questions the very foundations of the liberal order, including equality theory, legal reasoning, Enlightenment rationalism, and the neutral principles of constitutional law. It does this because critical race theory proponents assume racism is present everywhere and always.
Well, it is. Because white people are in charge? I don't get this. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, racism is present everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. Even here where I live. Yeah. I don't want to say I've been a victim of racism, because the racism I've been a victim of is very little things that most people probably wouldn't even count. So I'm not going to count it. But it is everywhere and it is present. I know for a fact. Trust me.
And they look for it critically until they find it.
That's not what critical race theory means. They don't look for... Wait, hold on. Wait, what? They look for it critically? I don't know what this means. Please, somebody tell me what this means. What does this mean? What does this mean? They look for it critically? I don't think that means anything.
Until they find it. And they always find it. It has to be there because that's how the imperial European powers and then America set things up.
Yep, true.
Here, as in all dangerous academic theories, there is a kernel of truth. Human beings were not preoccupied with race until the 16th century, when Europeans began to explore and then colonize other parts of the world. Drawing distinctions between the races reached its peak in the 19th century with the widespread use of slave labor in North and South America.
Yep.
No one denies this. But since then, the West...
You deny it. What? Dude, yeah. But people do deny it.
The Western world, and most especially America, has spent a lot of time, money, and blood breaking free of its racist past. It's been a rocky road for sure, but great progress has been made. Critical race theory says all this progress is a mirage. Racism never died, never even faded a little bit.
Nope. Nope. No, not at all. No. If you honestly think that we got rid of racism, no. I'm not really sure anyone can believe that. No. Wrong.
It just hid itself better.
Yep.
Critical race theory, therefore, is not a continuation of the civil rights movement. It is, in fact, a repudiation of it.
Oh, Jesus.
The critical...
You realize I'm recording, right?
Cool.
I just want you to know that. It really doesn't. Well, I'm now not streaming, I'm recording, so I can just cut this out.
Oh, dang it.
That makes it funnier. Yeah, but, it's not, because I'm not streaming, so. Your cereal's on the counter.
Okay.
Okay. And then, you can come in here when you're done eating, and we can read some comic books, okay? Alright.
Critical race theorists, Martin Luther King was both wrong and naive. White Americans can never judge blacks.
I'm sorry. Interruption. I have to go
King
back.
was both wrong and naive.
No, back.
Critical race theory, therefore, is not a continuation of the civil rights movement. It is, in fact, a repudiation of it. To critical race theorists, Martin Luther King was both wrong and naive. White Americans can never judge blacks.
MLK was a socialist. He would agree with everything CRT is about and teaches. What? White Americans can never judge
By the
blacks
content
or
of their
content
character.
Yeah.
They can only judge them, always unfavorably, consciously or unconsciously, by the color of their skin.
Not always. It just happens. You realize, it's not all the time, right? You can say it's all the time, that's what it teaches, but it doesn't say that. But it does happen, mostly unconsciously. Implicitly. Not the same thing, by the way. Okay? So, no, they can't always, not everyone judges, I guess, black people unfavorably all the time because they're racist. But it even happens, like, with me sometimes, which I hate to admit, but it does. Because, you know, as a kid, you know, you're always, like, all the shows and stuff, they always, you know, well, you know, black people are the bad guys. They're always bad guys in movies, always bad guys in TV, which is weird. But, yeah, so no, it's not always unfavorably all the time, but it happens. It happens to all of us, no matter how, you know, progressive. Like, I'm super progressive, okay? I guess I'm what you call a leftist. I don't really give a shit about the terms. I care more about how I feel about people, okay? I don't judge anybody. I don't. Unless you're a Trump fan. Then I judge you pretty hard. But that's a different thing. But I've had it happen to me before. Working at my job. Well, any of my jobs. Like, it happens. It happens to all of us. No matter what. And it sucks. And I know it sucks. It's something we all just have to get over. Honestly. But you have to want to get over it.
Ironically, not since the Aryan obsession in Germany in the 1930s and 1940s, or South African apartheid in the second half of the 20th century, has the social movement been so obsessed with race.
Well, America's obsessed with race, so anything explaining race has to deal with America's obsession with race. Yes? No? Maybe? A little bit? I don't know. Okay.
Critical race theory is then, in a very real sense, a counter-American revolution. But that's a positive, not a negative to those who subscribe to the theory. The American experiment was given a 400-year tryout, and it doesn't work. So let's scrap it. That's what they believe.
No, let's just fix it. What? Why scrap an entire country? What? Are you okay, James Lindsay? Are you alright, my dude?
Is that what you believe? I'm going to guess that most of you don't.
You know what? Yeah, let's start over from scratch. Let's do it. I'm ready. Let's do it. I don't even care. Let's go. I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. Restart America right now.
So how do we stop critical race theory before it infects the brains of too many decent Americans, especially young people, and turns us into something we have never been and shouldn't ever want to be? The answer is simple. Refuse to accept it. Don't be intimidated by the heads I win, tails you lose logic of this self-destructive, America-hating, anti-reality idea. Don't be bullied into thinking that you're racist when you know you're not, or that you're a victim when you know you're not. Defend yourself, while you still can. I'm James Lindsay, founder of New Discourses for PragerU University.
James, there's something you want to talk about, my dude? No? I didn't think so. Jesus. Let's look at some comments. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's do it. As someone who doesn't live in America, this is some weird shit. Replies. Bro, I know they want to eliminate racism but end up creating more racism. What? I know. I would recommend looking elsewhere for a more in-depth explanation for what CRT is. PragerU has a very political slant against it, so I don't think you can trust them to give an unbiased answer. True. They got most of it right. Affirmative action is based on the idea that white people would somehow be more advantaged by equal standards for student admission, at least according to Wikipedia. Yeah? Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Yep, that's true. In that this person has no idea what they're talking about. Yes, this is some weird shit. CRT is nothing more than teaching the truth about why laws and policies in the U.S. promoted racism. In other words, white elitist racists are against teaching the truth, as it always has been, and how it will always be. There's a lot of replies to this. I don't really want to read all those. People every now and then don't hate the player, hate the game. CRT. How about both? Satire. Do not take seriously. Okay, good. Jesus, that was. It's not even a funny joke. Anyway. That store customer thing, I would help the person who entered the store first, obviously. And if they're together, it'd help them both. And you know what? If we had multiple employees? And you know what if we had multiple employees? Then everyone could have good customer service. True. Okay. I'm not gonna read that. I don't know what that is. It's insane how his sarcasm is more attached to reality than he thinks reality is. What? I don't. What? It's insane how his sarcasm is more attached to reality than he thinks reality is. I don't. That just confused me. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He's an Ohio State fan, so he's obviously stupid. And CRT is paving a way to achieve that truth. How? By teaching kids that white people are racist. No, CRT is not teaching anybody anything. CRT is a theory. Like all theories, it is descriptive that seeks to explain injustice on the basis of skin color. Now, that does not mean that, quote, white people are all racist scumbags, nor does it mean that all, quote, black people are angels who are not responsible for anything they do. However, there are instances where the skin color plays a big role when it comes to inequality. Take generational wealth. Oh, Jesus Christ. I did not realize it was going to be this long. Take generational wealth, for example. White people are way more likely to inherit more money than black people. Why? Well, CRT would posit, rather correctly, that because generational wealth, as the name suggests, is built up over generations, it's accumulated over time. Now, a given white person may end up with the money. May end up with a passed down wealth of 5, 6, maybe even 10 generations, whereas most black people, 3 to 4 generations ago, their relatives are being traded like cattle. Slaves have no right to possessions, and they cannot amass generational wealth. This does not mean that today every white person is racist. It just means that the system is and or has been. Nobody's blaming us, white people, but it's about time we started to realize that we have certain privileges that others do not possess. Once again, that does not mean you have to feel bad about your skin tone. Just realize the system is a certain way and move on. Everything will be fine. The question shows you've never actually done any research into the subject. It's a historical. As to him. Okay. We're going to skip that one then. How is CRT paving a way towards MLK's dream? Did you not just read this? Can you name a CRT theorist who espouses the view that kids should be taught that white people are racist? That would be great, thanks. Never does. Nice. Let's just keep creating new things to talk about instead of the actual racist people passing bills. Okay. Andy No was referring to Antifa, but I believe his comment can be applied to most of the far left when he said they intellectualize the arguments to mask the ruthlessness of their worldview. Oh my God, I can't talk. Also not true. What? I don't think that's a very accurate definition of critical race theory. It's not. I gotta hit stop hitting replies. I just realized I'm streaming or recording. Because it is a critical race theory, and any other means of accrediting minority groups or recognizing their histories of oppression from conservatism directly undermines the fundamental values and credit that conservatism operates under. So it's absolutely no surprise that conservatives take a defensive position and offensive opinion against a study into how race relations affect the way our society functions today, because the result will always highlight the inefficiency of conservatism, which the conservatives will attack. There's too much here. I don't want to read all of it. I'm in the shipping business. We're Asian, Mexican, black, and white. We all get along. We don't have these stupid conversations. We're all focused on earning a living. This has had nothing to do with critical race theory. No human beings have a much longer history of racism than just European colonizers. True. This is weird because I listened to a lecture on critical race theory, and your description doesn't match it, even in the slightest. True, because it's not critical race theory. Goddamn, I'm trying to find a video that can simply explain what critical race theory is without it being loaded with bias. Can a man learn? Not with fucking PragerU, dude. I'm from New Zealand, and this is just so weird. Not sure what's weird about it. You help whoever's at front of the line. True. I know, right? PragerU is so stupid. True. Hi, Steven. How are you? I see from your post you have an interest in critical race theory. I'm in great need of your help. I'm in law school. Oh my god. When did social studies become social psychology? When did social studies become social psychology as a scientific study of how the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of individuals are influenced by the actual imagined and implied presence of others? Imagined and implied presences referring to the internalized social norms that humans are influenced by even when they are alone. What the fuck does this mean? I don't know what this means. Critical race theory used to be called stereotyping. No, it's not. Do not go gently into that good night. Rage against the dying of light. What the fuck? Alright, I think we're done with this. You guys get it. CRT is very important, and we should be teaching it to every single person, no matter the age. Is how I feel like this should go. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm sorry if this video is messed up. I will try doing it again. Or I'll try to encode it differently. I love you. Have a good day.